I'm Olivia, and today's happy nugget comes from Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec, the late 19th century French painter, draftsman, printmaker, and illustrator. Toulouse-Lautrec is one of my favorite artists. His love of life and of people is imbued into each one of his works. Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec was born in France in 1864 to an aristocratic family. He was an adorable child and had a happy and carefree childhood, spoiled and indulged by his family. As was the privilege of the aristocracy, his family engaged in cultural pursuits like drawing, painting, horseback riding, hunting, and fine cuisine. From an early age, if Henri wasn't playing sports or spending time outdoors, he was drawing and painting watercolors. But in 1878, when he was 14, he fell and broke his left thigh bone. When this had barely healed, he had another accident and broke his other thigh bone. He was suffering from a disease that was a result of inbreeding in his family, as his parents were first cousins. The disease caused his bones to be abnormally brittle. After these painful accidents, Henri stopped growing. As an adult, he was about 5 feet tall, with a head and torso of normal size, but his legs remained stiff, weak, and stunted, requiring the use of a cane to walk. But Henri always tried to look at the bright side, laughing at his own misfortunes, taking them in stride. When he was 17, he began to study art seriously. For Toulouse-Lautrec, art and daily life went hand in hand. He was constantly drawing, often prompted by the circumstances and the people of the moment. Henri was not comfortable painting professional models. He wanted to be genuinely captivated by a subject in their natural environment and let the inspiration flow freely. Toulouse-Lautrec believed that art should not be the privilege of a few. His most famous paintings were rough drafts for his journalistic illustrations and poster advertisements, which he came to prefer because they allowed him to reach a wider audience. He experimented with lithographic and woodcut techniques and other methods to disseminate his work, most famously his innovative and iconic posters for the cabaret Moulin Rouge. With simplified shapes, bold, fluid, and arresting lines, Toulouse-Lautrec's posters were a success, helping to promote or launch the leading performers of his day. France in the late 19th century was ruled by the bourgeoisie, which was a middle class steeped in materialistic values and conventional attitudes. The social barriers in Toulouse-Lautrec's time were very strong, and there was a hypocrisy we still see today everywhere. The squalor of working class life was ignored. There was a moral code that overlooked adultery. Prostitution was legally condoned, yet morally condemned, and sought after in the underbelly of society. That underbelly was privately used and discarded, while publicly shunned and ostracized. Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec despised the hypocrisy of the bourgeoisie. He judged individuals on their own merits as human beings, beyond their social status. Perhaps because of his own physical infirmities, Henri was drawn and fascinated by the seedier side of society, feeling at ease in those environments of the nightlife of Paris, the cafes, cabarets, brothels, and music halls. But Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec was not drawn to the darkness. He was drawn to the humanity. In the ugliest, most hated outcasts of society, Toulouse-Lautrec found perfect beauty. He treasured their spontaneity and sincerity, portraying them in beautiful ways, with the dignity they merited as human beings. When Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec was 36 years old, he could feel the end of his life approaching. His physical condition had worsened, aided by alcohol abuse and a syphilis infection. He spent 3 months visiting his dearest friends and all the places he'd loved and frequented, finishing paintings and drawings and signing whatever he thought was worthwhile before settling in his mother's estate amidst ripening vineyards, sitting on a chair because he could no longer walk. He observed nature and drew whatever he could while the pain allowed it. Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec lived his 36 years so full of zest and zeal, absorbing the vibrant life around him, living fully and frenetically at times, as if instinctively knowing that time can be both fickle and precious. Toulouse-Lautrec was so giving of himself, so caring of others, so prolific in his creations. and possessed a rare empathy for the human condition. Henri saw beyond pretensions to see people for who they truly were. He appreciated the genuine beauty of a sincere soul. Sometimes people who are outwardly beautiful and people who aren't are crippled by their appearance. No matter what your physical perfections or imperfections may be, the true measure of who you are is not reflected in the image that stares at you from across the mirror. Your true beauty is reflected in the relationships you nurture, in the work you create, and in the attitude with which you treat people and live your life. And that's today's happy nugget. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe. As always, I link below the video anything I recommend. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. See you next time.